Right everyone, WeaponCollector here. Right, you're going to have to excuse the fan noise because it's quite hot in here. So this is the answers to the Q&A. So I have had some weird ones because I said put some funny ones on, but to be honest a lot of them I can't answer. So some of them I'll just read out and leave it at that. So the first one's from Tony Hitterstick Constantinople. He said, any idea how to get paint out of a carpet? I spilled half a can of black gloss in the living room. My mum's going to go nuts. No, I can't help you there, Tony. I ain't got a clue, mate. Ronnie Kirk said, why don't you have a shotgun or firearms licence? In all honesty, it's just because I can't be bothered. Firearms licence, I probably wouldn't be able to get, but there's a small chance I might be able to if I join the right places. I probably could, but in all honesty I ain't got no interest in it. I haven't got a lot of places to shoot. I don't go out enough to really use a shotgun. Not that you need a reason to have a shotgun, but I don't know, it's just I don't want the police being able to just come around here whenever they want, even though I'm not doing anything wrong, you know. You get judged by appearances a lot of the time, and it's easier for me not to have to bother with that kind of stuff, really. But yeah, I ain't got a shotgun licence because I don't really like the thought of the fact you're sort of renting it and you can have the police around your house at any time and have it taken off you if they came round and your safe just happened to be open or something like that, you know. Alex Saint asked, what's your favourite type of alcohol? That's quite difficult to answer in all honesty, because what I drink isn't necessarily what I like. I do like beer. I do like quite a strong beer. If I could, I'd probably drink mostly strong lagers or beers, 7%, 9%, something like that. But they're quite expensive and not worth buying really nowadays. I do like gin. I would probably say, if I had the money, probably gin and tonic. But I do nowadays quite like vodka and tonic. Yeah. You know me, I drink to get drunk rather than the taste, so. He also asked, what's your favourite video on your channel? That's quite difficult. I was thinking it might be the Scary Stories Halloween special I did. That was good. Also, quite a few of my Halloween specials are quite good. My interactive film, I think, is good as well. My favourite would probably be my interactive film, I think, because of the amount of work I put into that. Yeah, probably my interactive film. I'll put a link for that, and any other videos I mention or anything, I'll put links in the description to them, and they may pop up as a card as well. So the next question is from Zed Not Z, and he asked a few. The first was, what is the airspeed velocity of an unladen European swallow? That's Monty Python. He said, if you had to get rid of all but 5 of your DVDs, which would you keep? Now, I've had a look, and I deliberately tried to not pick box sets, because I thought that would be cheating. Even TV series, as I thought, might be cheating. But I did pick one film series. In all honesty, I'd still be undecided, but what I picked today were The Revenge of Billy the Kid, Garth Marenghi's Dark Place, Brain Dead, The Good, the Bad, the Ugly, Once Upon a Time in the West. And if I could get rid of one of them and change one, maybe, because I'm thinking of the only 5 films I could ever watch, that would be different. Because I'm thinking I could still watch films on the internet. If it was keep 5 DVDs, they're the only ones you can ever watch ever, it'd be slightly different. And I'd have to pick one of these that can't be shown. R18, that'd have to be in there as well. But yeah, I think that'd be slightly different. But yeah, I'm going to say, so I'd say the 5 DVDs I'd keep are those, assuming I can still watch stuff on the TV. He also said, in a shit hit the fan para sort of situation, which 3 knives would you carry purely as a weapons? A main, a backup, and a backup to the backup. Now again, very difficult. I struggle with some of these. I like big knives, and also I've gone solely for non-folding knives because you didn't mention folding knives. So, and if these was weapons anyway, I probably wouldn't use a folding knife as a weapon anyway. And remember, anyone watching this is a fictional sort of circumstance we're talking about. So the first one would probably be this, which is my replica of a Frontier Bowie that I made. I would have to adjust the sheath though, because the one thing I don't like about this sheath, and a lot of sheaths you see, without a leg tie, you'll be surprised how difficult it can be to pull a knife out of a sheath if it's really well in there. But I like this because of the size of it. It is essentially a machete blade, but this is a good cutter, quick, decent bit of steel for the blade, and comfortable, decent sized handle. So the second one, the backup, would probably be the GI Tanto, I think, purely because it's a good quality blade with a good quality sheath, decent size. What I mean by tactical sheaths making it easier to get a knife out is, if you had this on your side and it wasn't tied down with a leg tie, when you try and pull it out, it does this. Now, if you're trying to pull out knives like that from your side, that actually slows you down quite a bit. A lot of people don't realise that. That's why you'll see nearly every knife sheath I make will have a leg tie, because if you're pulling a knife up, if you're pulling a knife out and the sheath's coming up with it, that slows you down if you had to get that knife out quickly. So they must, for me, a sheath must have some kind of leg tie. So yeah, the GI Tanto, cold steel GI Tanto as the backup knife, and then for the backup to that would be a nice dagger. I haven't got my Fairbairn sights at the minute. It would be that if I had a decent one. I've got a replica up there to replace my good one, but my good one is in a display case now. So it would have to be this, which is a Magnum dagger basically. A decent size, comfortable sheath with multiple holes for attaching it, so it could be attached vertically, horizontally. But that's, for me, one of the most important things of any knife if you're going to use it in some kind of shit hit fan situation. For me, has to have some kind of leg tie to keep that sheath tight to your leg or wherever, so that it isn't essentially doing that when you're trying to pull it out, which does happen. Funny thing is, the end of Zed's question was, and why those? And he said, also, for your main CQC weapon, would you choose an impact, stabby or choppy weapon? Possibly a Warhammer, but it would be a bit bigger than this. So what I'd like to do is keep this same style head, change the front surface a little bit by cutting V shapes in to give little points on each edge. I think that would stop it sliding off then. Not that it does much anyway, but the pick is good. And a longer handle. It would probably be about that long. So a good 6 inches longer, I think. So I think an impact, but with the capabilities of stabby. But that may change, it depends. At the minute with what I've got, it would be that though. And then he said, finally, what is your Grail knife? You know what, I'm not really sure. I would love to get my hands on some kind of antique trench knife, would be nice. Maybe just another good, proper good modern reproduction of Fairbairn type fighting knife, to be honest. Yeah, probably be it. There's not a lot of knives, because I'll be honest, a lot of the expensive knives don't do nothing for me. A cheap knife for me, or a knife I've made, in my mind, is as good as any really expensive knife with some kind of fancy steel that is too expensive to use anyway. Yeah, Fairbairn sights, fighting knife, I reckon. Right, so Flazzy asked, do you have a link to the targets to the shooting competition? Probably be easier if everyone uses the same ones. Yeah, well, that's what I normally do, Flazzy. When I do the introductory video for it, there'll be links to the targets, there'll be links to print the targets if you want, so it'll all be there when it comes. But yeah, I've over the years I've always sorted that out. It doesn't matter if people don't use the right target, so I can still, as long as I know the size of them, I can superimpose mine over them and work out where your scores would be on mine anyway. You can even draw it by hand, but that'll all be explained when I do the introductory video. Khalid says, what's your favourite bow? Do you mean out the ones I own or in general? In general, I don't really know many bows, you know, what I own. I'm not into bows, but you can't beat sort of an English longbow, can you? I think for sort of traditional bows. So yeah, just an old traditional English longbow. Right, this is quite a long question, this next one, and probably not, as I've said, some of them aren't really suited for this. I didn't mean this kind of questions. So Merlin asked, do you think the Black Horizon bolts are incompatible with the Redback XR? The grey ones seem to feed flawlessly, however the black ones, which are just ever so slightly shorter than the grey bolts that come with the bow, have caused almost catastrophic failures in my XR and have led to jammings and have frayed the string. Currently working on a modification to space out the back of the magazine to fit the cheaper black bolts. I was wondering if you've experienced the same. I've noticed that some of the black bolts are longer than the grey ones, some of the black bolts are shorter than the grey ones. So, and some are exactly the same size. So I think it's just hit and miss. I've noticed it depends more with that magazine, it depends whether your bolts are completely level and whether they drop down level. That really make a difference. Right, John Freethinker said, I know some creators on YouTube make good money from their videos. Do you at least make a fair amount of money from your videos? Sadly not, John. I didn't know you didn't know this, but yeah, I've been demonetised from making money on YouTube for at least 10 years probably. I made the mistake years and years ago. There was quite a few of us doing it and we didn't realise we was going against the AdSense rules. It was weird. A bloke started doing it first. He would say, don't forget to click the ads before you go, or don't forget to spread the money, love, and click that ad before you go. And then people started copying him, and then the end of the month came when we'd all got our new AdSense, just got on AdSense, and about 30 or more channels, 50 channels, all got shut down because we'd all been saying to click the ads, which you shouldn't do. And that is a legitimate thing, that's why I can't really complain about it. I didn't know I was doing wrong at the time. And I've appealed and they won't accept it. Yeah, sadly, John, I've never made a single penny from YouTube themselves. Now, I do get about 40 quid a month from Patreon supporters, which is a massive, help. Because essentially YouTube's actually my job as well. So I do get money from Patreon, but again that's not really YouTube, but that's via YouTube. And I do a donations thing called coffee.com, and people quite often, at least a couple of times a week, will donate to that. Yeah, but I don't really make a lot. It's enough to keep me going, getting materials and that, luckily. But yeah, sadly, John, I don't make a single penny from YouTube. I don't reckon I ever will. So it's all about me doing merchandise, selling things, advertising things. Yeah. 83 Airgunner said, if you could only use one weapon for the rest of your life, what would it be? Right, I know we all have a discussion of what a weapon is and what's sporting goods. But I reckon it'll probably be this. It'll probably be the Tomcat 2, fully kitted out. Just purely because it's just a really fun thing to use, cheap to use, cheap to replace the parts if you need to, or even fix them yourself. It's got a bayonet on it, so if I wanted to I could at least take the bayonet off and use it as a throwing knife as well. Yeah, probably that, 83 Airgunner. again, a very difficult thing, because the reason whenever anyone asks me to pick a certain thing, I am quite an indecisive person. So as soon as I'm put on the spot to pick one thing, that is difficult. So I might change my mind 5 minutes later. Yeah, I think that just because it's cheap and easy to use, accurate, easy to run, easy to fix, and got plenty of features on it. Chris Wheatley said, "Did you get my email?" Possibly. Possibly, I don't know, but I'll check. Better off getting hold of me on some kind of social media thing, on an instant messenger. But I've been ill for a bit, and I ain't been in the mood for, for answering people, but I will get back to it soon. SAK94 said, "You can only save one, the other will be destroyed forever, books or films." Now, I had a good think about this, and I thought about, down the years, what my favourite story is ever, and that's the Dark Tower books. And I think you do often get more out of books, so I would get rid of films, because most books tend to be better than the films anyway. Takes a lot more time to read them and all that, but yeah. Films are good and all, but I reckon books overall you'd get more out of. There's more educational stuff in books. Certainly some films I'd miss a lot, but yeah. Get rid of films if I had to get rid of one of them. Peugeot Destroyers said, "Are those guns real?" I certainly feel it. Pete said, "Favourite fan interaction or gift?" Again, very difficult to answer. Now I thought about this, about the gifts I've been sent. Weapons and Stuff 93 has been over here. That's the only person I've ever met in person from YouTube, as far as I can think of. Sorry if there have been other people and I can't remember. Yeah, that was good. But there is something to do with the YouTube community that I absolutely loved, which I'll get to in a second. As for gifts, now that's a difficult one to say, because there's been I've been sent very generous gifts. Some very specific thought about gifts, where someone's heard me talk about stuff and bought me that specific thing, very thoughtful gifts. Others just very generous, decent gifts. That big old box of stuff that Stu sent me was amazing, 'cause it had quite a few things in it that I'd always wanted. But I'd say all of the gifts, I'm very, very grateful for anything anyone ever sends me, massively. My all-time favourite fan interaction type thing would be that live stream we had, and we was all on, and we was all drinking. And I know that probably doesn't count, but for me that is that kind of thing, because when I'm talking to you on camera like that, it feels like you're in the same room as me. Yeah, I really enjoyed that. We've never ever replicated that. We've done one like it and it wasn't the same. But that one, it was just mad, but really fun. Yeah. So probably that, Peach. T2 Coin Seeker said, "Who's your favourite page 3 girl?" Page 3 bird. Right, in the old days, Sam Fox. Always liked Sam Fox in the old days. Then my all-time favourite, when she was at her peak, would have actually been Jordan, Katie Price. Not really now though. And I'll tell you what, I also quite liked Leilani Dowding, I think her name is. All-time favourite, probably Jordan though, in all honesty, in her heyday. Richard Kent, he said, "Chicken or the egg?" And he said, do you eat poo or poo what you eat? Fuck's sake. Do you eat what you poo? I certainly don't eat what I poo. Do you poo what you eat? I think you poo what you eat though, don't you? Chicken or the egg? Yeah, who fucking knows? Who knows? The egg. The egg had to come first. Nick's Knives said, slightly generic question I guess, but out of all the stuff you own, what's your favourite? I own far less than you, and even I'd have some trouble making that decision. Yeah, very difficult, Nick. As I say, me being so fucking indecisive. If I had my Bren gun, it probably would have been the Bren gun. But the problem with the Bren gun, it was so big and bulky, and a lot of money sat there doing nothing, and I got desperate, and that went. And you'd think that's weird selling your favourite thing, but you know, it was my favourite thing, but it was also the most bulky, pain in the ass thing I owned. But I don't have that anymore. So I would probably say, you can't see it, I'll show you a picture. Right up the top there is an old sword. When I first got that sword, I was given it, and I thought, you know, it looked like a piece of old shit, to be honest. It was someone had sprayed the sheath with silver spray and the handle, and it just looked crap. But when I got it down one day, like years later, you know, like more than 15 years later, got it down, cleaned it up and refurbished it, I actually realised it was a proper World War II Japanese sword, and probably one of the most expensive things I have. So finding that out did, you know, was a fucking surprise. I was like, wow, yeah. And it's a nice sword actually. Or yeah, I'd say, or maybe two of the swords I made recently. Again, it's very difficult, and as you know, I could never pick one. But I was always very happy with this. My little Zero Witcher sword, and my new sword. And Gut Wrencher. Yeah, probably one of my favourites as well. Yeah, old Gut Wrencher. I don't think I am going to name it that, but that's its temporary name. So, Lippy Lucy said, I bought a Horizon Redback with the magazine holds 5 arrows. Do you sell bodkin bolts for it? I don't at the minute, but I might be able to sort something out eventually. Peugeot Destroys said, who is your hero? Oh, I'd probably say my dad. Yeah, would be my hero. Can't think of anyone else. Yeah, probably my dad. He said, what would you change about yourself? Maybe being a bit stronger willed with some of the sort of addictions and things I'd like to stop doing. Because when it comes to like either not drinking or not eating so much, it's a fucking nightmare. I can't do it. So maybe a bit more willpower in doing that. He also asked, what is your favourite dinosaur? Probably the old classic, Tyrannosaurus Rex, I suppose. What's your favourite movie? Right, if I had to pick one, you're going to make me pick one. That. Once Upon a Time in the West. He said, worst video you've ever posted. Just probably some of the reviews I've done for knives and stuff. Not this particular knife, but there's a lot of really shit videos like that where I didn't really even want to do them. So I'm going to torch your knife review, definitely. And he also said, biggest pet peeve. So Tactical said, a reach around or a helicopter? I ain't answering that. He said, serious question. What do you think of big YouTubers who belittle the smaller channels whilst shilling overpriced merch? Yeah, I do think that's a piss take, and I don't think they should do it. You know, I suppose YouTube is different than the TV and that, but I still, you know, if you're going to try and come across as a decent person, you certainly don't want to be taking the piss out of smaller channels or, you know, I think if I ever got big, I would spend the time try to help out smaller channels, which a lot of big channels have no interest in. Anyone, you'll notice a lot of the massive channels will only have stuff to do with other massive channels. They'll never really, you know, some of them do, but a lot of them won't have nothing to do with the smaller channels, which is, it's a shame really, because they could be helping these people step up. There certainly are channels that do that, and I think it's decent when they do. I've seen very big channels get hold of small channels, get them on their channel, and that's really progressed that person's channel, and that's a nice thing to do. But yeah, there are plenty of channels who we know who will do literally nothing for other channels unless it's a big channel. And yeah, it's, what do I think of it? It's a knobbish way to be, really, isn't it? Tactical. And unnecessary, considering these people are trying to portray themselves in a certain way. But if you look deep down into what they're really like, it's all about money really, and that's the thing that spoils it. And I know that YouTube is business for some people, but the people watching it, they don't want to see that part of it. Yeah, do the business part behind, but yeah, ah well. Right, so Rick Cleland said, do you think we're all doomed? Wu flu, zombie apocalypse. I don't know. I think we're all doomed eventually. Whether that kind of thing will happen in our lifetime, it also depends what country you live in. I would say there's some countries where they would have said they was doomed, you know, 10, 20 years ago in war-torn sort of places, but I don't know. I don't think in our lifetime, but I think, yeah, will be one day, but I don't think in our lifetime. Hopefully not, anyway. That's why you've got to be prepared for it, just in case. Flazzy said, would you rather go down on Susan Boyle or take 5 punches to the stones from Tyson Fury? Now I was thinking about this and I thought, so that's either be mentally sort of destroyed for the rest of your life or physically destroyed for the rest of your life. I thought, I'll be honest, I'd rather take the punches. Even if it meant I couldn't walk again for the rest of my life. I think I'd rather do that than the thought of the other thing. Can she have full cosmetic surgery to look like a supermodel first? So Charlie Shotter said, when can you send me those bloody broadheads? Right, I'll get down to it soon, mate. I'll have a check on the emails. Where have you been messaging me? Email, Facebook or something? Wizard Trigger said, what would be your 3 weapons of choice in a Mad Max style world? Of the things I've got, I would probably pick my Jaguar crossbow, very simple to maintain, £150, so it's powerful. I would mod it with a bayonet on the front or something, and some other things. Definitely not bayonet on that, in a sort of Mad Max style world. Warhammer, wherever I put it, I reckon. Warhammer, and some kind of big blade. I'm not sure on that. It'd either be one of the ones I've shown, or I would remake one of these with a slightly better handle and a lot better sheath. That's a good old whacking thing that is. Yeah, I think that'd be what it'd be. Oh, it might maybe my D-guard short sword. It's up there, but I can't get it down. Ah, no. Right, so crossbow, Warhammer, definitely. And maybe this, which is my Gross Messer. I'm going to redo one of these. I think that this would be better with a slightly different handle. But yes, maybe that. My Gross Messer. Because that's a big enough thing that it acts like a sword, but it's also stabby and yeah, a bit of everything really. Irishman said, "Are you considering making a science fiction style crossbow? Because I know a guy who could design you a space bayonet for it." Funny thing is, I know the same person. I might actually get hold of him. Yeah, what do you reckon? Green or orange handles on it? Not the bayonet, the crossbow I mean. Lots of patterns, funny lines. Coming soon. So Lord Flashheart said, "In a battle between the inhabitants of Malta defending against hordes of invading penguins, in what could be the future catalyst for World War III, when are we getting a weapon collector OnlyFans?" Told you, it's already on there, you just got to find it. It's on there, mate. It's been ready for ages. Mr. Live Era said, "Do people put bird food in the road? Why are pigeons in the middle of the road?" Do you know what? I ain't got a fucking clue. I don't think people do. But yeah, why would they be in the middle of the road? I don't know. I did ask for a lot of weird questions and I certainly got them this time. Leonard Christopher said, "Who do you have a crush on?" Oh, I don't know. I suppose I do like a bit of Miley Cyrus and Gwen Stefani. There you go. That'll be my two crushes, I reckon, at the minute. Cosma Exists, he said, "Suggestions on compact and concealed body armour for urban environments. Helmets, caps, Kevlar, polycarbonate, plastic, limb armour." Right, the best thing you can really do is get, if you want it cheap, you want to get ex-police stuff. But ex-police stuff, you can literally get everything. You can get gloves, shoulder protection, body armour, riot gear, which covers your legs, groin, feet, arms, everything basically. You can get riot helmets, bump caps. In fact, probably the best place to talk about this with me, I've got a video on it. Look up covert body armour, and it'll be a similar thing to what you're asking. Right, so look that up. There'll be a link in the description and a card maybe. Right, so there you go. That's my Q&A video. These are always long, but I hope you enjoyed it, I hope you watched it. I probably put this on as a premiere, so you would have had a chat down the side, so you could talk about it as we were going along. Yeah. Cheers everyone, thanks for the questions. I'll see you next time. Before you go though, actually, don't forget to like the video, subscribe if you haven't already subscribed, most of you probably will be. And don't forget that you can support me if you ever wanted to. There's merchandise and stuff like that, or Patreon, which you can join monthly from £1 a month. Also there's coffee.com where you can put like a one-off donation on there. The link to that in the description, and there'll be a video after this showing you how to do it. Alright, hope you enjoyed it. See you later.